Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. In this video, we're discussing this product, Tretinoin, for one final time here on the channel. And I want to share with you the final chapter in my Tretinoin journey and experience, which unfortunately hasn't ended the way that maybe I hoped it had. I've been going through transitioning onto Tretinoin as my chosen retinoid for the past 9 months. I've been doing this in combination and consultation with my dermatologist, and having persevered through first the retinoid uglies, then the really good stage where I was getting some fantastic benefits, I've ultimately decided this isn't the right retinoid for me, and I'm moving on to some other different products. I've taken you along each step of this journey, so I thought it was only right that we should end here and I share with you my final experiences and how I'm going to take it forward. So sit back, relax, let's talk why I'm giving up Tretinoin. Now, before we get into this video, the usual reminder to do all that YouTubey stuff if you haven't already. If you could reach down and give this video a big thumbs up and a like, it's a fantastic way of supporting me and the channel, because the more likes a video gets, the more widely YouTube will distribute it on its platform. I think that's actually really important for this video, because I think there's a lot of stigma out there with people saying if you're not using Tretinoin, you're not doing your skin service, and actually your skincare routine isn't complete. It's the only proven anti-aging ingredient. This actually isn't the case, and I want to get the message out there that whilst Tretinoin might work really well for so many people, it's not right for everybody, and we should remove some of that stigma that makes people think I have to use this ingredient or I'm doing my skincare wrong. I would love to know your own experiences too when it comes to Tretinoin, so let's get that conversation going. Sound off in the comments section below, share with me your Tretinoin befores and afters, and how long it took for you to transition into this skincare ingredient. With all that being said, I have actually got quite a lot to say, so let's cut that waffle and just delve straight on in. Let's start with a road travelled so far, kind of how we got here. So I did try Tretinoin, also known as Retin-A, which is a high strength prescription only, at least here in the UK, retinoid. I started it about 10 years ago, maybe used it intermittently for a year, and didn't really give it enough time to actually work in the skin for my skin to adjust to it. So I kind of wrote it off and didn't really try it any further. Then a lot of you guys actually called out and said, you know what, Rob, I'm having some great experiences with Tretinoin. It might be worth giving it a second look. So 9 months ago, I went to my dermatologist and said, I'm thinking of mixing it up, trying Tretinoin. What do you think? Can we work on a treatment plan and see how we can integrate it into my skincare routine? She was fully on board and actually said, you know, there are some different formulations of Tretinoin that would work really well for the adult acne that I still suffer with into my mid-30s. I'm looking for a retinoid that will not only have that anti-aging benefit, boosting the collagen, preventing fine lines and wrinkles, retaining that firmness and elasticity in the skin, but I also want one that's going to help with the breakouts that I still persistently get in the skin, something that will increase the cellular turnover but also declog the pores. She actually recommended this product, which is called Tretinoin. So it's a mixture of a 0.25 Tretinoin alongside clindamycin, which is an antibiotic. This kind of gives you the anti-aging benefit alongside some of the acne fighting benefit of that antibiotic. I was fully sold. I think this sounded just like the right product for me. So we kind of went through how to use it, the best way to layer it into the skincare routine, and I followed her advice to the letter. I got those really, well, what we call the retinoid uglies, the redness, the peeling, the irritation, for the first 8 weeks of transition into this product. I must admit, it was a lot less severe than what I'd previously experienced when I dabbled with Tretinoin, and I think the reasons for that is we went for the lowest concentration, which honestly I would totally recommend, particularly when you're starting out, but also we worked on some other things we could incorporate in the skincare routine to carbon soothe any irritation, such as azelaic acid, which I didn't have available to me when I first tried it. So definitely a smoother journey into Tretinoin than maybe I previously had. All was going well, and I thought, yeah, you know what, this has actually worked. I started to see some great anti-aging benefit in terms of, you could tell that collagen was being boosted, that firmness and elasticity seemed to be there. You know, it wasn't game-changing results, but I definitely noticed the difference between, you know, what I'd previously been using and that Tretinoin. I also noticed that my skin started to become less congested. I had less blackheads, I had less skin congestion in general, and the breakouts definitely started to subside. I went through a bit of a purge early on where I noticed my acne got worse before it got better, but my dermatologist kind of explained that was going to happen, and so I think sometimes this is a key thing, setting your expectations and knowing what's going to happen. When we reached month 6, I was like, yes, I think I'm sold on this. I think we're good to go. It was actually at that month 6 point where I had my follow-up consultation with the dermatologist. I captured where I was at that stage in the journey in a video at the time, which I'll leave a link to up there if you want to check it out. That kind of captures all the positivity results that I was getting and why I become a total convert to Tretinoin. tretinoin. I sat down at that consultation and my dermatologist said, yeah, it's great that you're getting all these fantastic results, but we're going to have to switch up the product because obviously the antibiotic content within the one that I was using isn't going to be suitable for long-term use, and like to use it intermittently, and my skin had totally cleared by that point. I was getting some great acne fighting benefit too. Obviously, I always think you should be guided by the professional. I never want to go in there with the idea of what I want to come out with in terms of the consultation. I go in there with an open mind and kind of listen to what they have to say. They're the professionals at the end of the day. And I've been working with this dermatologist for years and have like total faith in her. And she just gives the best recommendations. So I took that and said, okay, what are we going to move to? And we transitioned straight on to just the normal standard tretinoin. We didn't use the Retin-A brand, which is something I think is quite prevalent in North America in particular. Here we just went for the generic version. It's less expensive, it's easier to get hold of. We kept with the same strength of 0.025% because there is actually a lot of data out there which the dermatologist explained to say, going up to the high strength, which is a 0.1%, actually doesn't give a whole lot of additional benefits but can increase the side effects and irritation. I thought, no. I was still getting a little bit of light peeling from it. I thought, no, let's not push it. Let's stick with what we know. I continued to use that and all was fine for like the first month, and I noticed the acne, the breakouts, returning like they were before. At first it starts with a few like under the skin bumps. I noticed quite a few of the blackheads were returning, and I could definitely see that my skin was reverting back to what it was like pre-starting tretinoin. I've dealt with acne for years, and I think this used to bother me a lot, but I've kind of moderated my expectations. It's part of me. I've still got adult acne in my 30s. I embrace it and I don't let it affect me, like my confidence, the way that I used to. I just thought maybe this is part of the transition to that new product, which whilst it's the same concentration, might have some different background ingredients in the formulation that could be impacting that. No, continued to get worse and worse and worse, and by like month 8 my skin was back to the way it was pre-starting tretinoin. So I went back to my dermatologist at like the month 8 point and said, kind of what's going on here? We seem to be back to that original point there when I first started to visit you about this, and whilst I was expecting maybe the odd breakout, I didn't think it'd go back to exactly the way it was. I thought tretinoin was supposed to be really good for tackling acne. She said it works better in some people than others, different types of acne over other types, and you know what, I think this is something that I probably should have expected because different people have different reactions to ingredients. We're all unique, and this is something I really like to stress here on the channel, and so I don't know why I was surprised that I got a slightly different experience to what some other people do. We kind of talked it through and probably thought the best thing for me was to transition back to adapolene, differin, which is the trade name of adapolene, which is what I'd been using for years successfully before then. Adapolene is like a second generation of retinoid, which has the same anti-aging benefits of some other prescription retinoids, but it's also got some anti-inflammatory and some anti-acne benefits too. I've been using differin, adapolene for years and really successfully, but I kind of got a little bit inquisitive about tretinoin and what that could deliver for my skin. So we then said, look, we'll give it one more month and then we'll move back on to the adapolene, which is what I now use. So I'm currently on this, which is the Epiduo, which is adapolene and benzoyl peroxide. It's great. The benzoyl peroxide kind of just doubles down on some of the acne fighting benefits, particularly when you first start using adapolene again. It's kind of a great way to kind of kick it in, just minimize any of the breakouts that you've got ongoing. And so far, again, my skin is clearing up nicely and I'm kind of getting the results that I want. So that's kind of my journey to this point. I am definitely glad that I tried tretinoin. You know what? A lot of people are saying you can get great results from it, and I definitely did. I think I got slightly enhanced anti-aging benefits from it than what I was getting from adapolene and some of the other over-the-counter retinoids I was using before it. So I definitely think, it showed those results, but it definitely didn't have the same results for my adult acne that different adapolene had, which is why ultimately I decided to switch back. I think this is why I wanted to film this video. First of all, to complete the full circle, so you know exactly where my journey's been, but also to say to you guys, you know what? Tretinoin, as with any other ingredient in your skincare routine, you need to match the products you reach for to your individual skin type and what outcomes you want to get. If anti-aging was the only concern that I had, I probably would have stuck with tretinoin because I was definitely getting those enhanced outcomes. But for me, something that's really important is getting on top and tackling my adult acne and breakouts, and I just wasn't getting the performance, wasn't getting the deliverables from tretinoin, which is why I decided to park it and go back to what I knew, that being differing. The message I want to get across in this video is say when it comes to skincare, use what works for you. And actually, just because people say tretinoin is game-changing and everyone needs it in their skincare routine, it might not be the right retinoid for you. Others might deliver better outcomes against your individual skin goals, which is certainly my experience. What I would take from this whole journey is there is definitely a right way and a wrong way to incorporate tretinoin. I got better experiences this time and fewer side effects by following a really strict skincare routine, doing everything that I should be, using the right amount, layering it with extra hydration, using an azelaic acid alongside it. These are definitely things that I would recommend because it made this journey so much smoother. Another thing I take from this journey is, honestly, it's worth trying things sometimes. I think we can be a little bit scared and intimidated to mix things up, try something new, but you know what, if we never change things, we'll never know what we could be reaching for and the outcomes we could get. Whilst tretinoin didn't work out for me personally, you know what, I'm really glad I tried it so I could share my experiences with you guys. I could just try it for myself. I think working really closely with your prescriber, be it a dermatologist, GP, esthetician, whoever prescribes the product, I think is really key. I could have gone in there and kind of made my demands. This is what I want, and they probably would have just prescribed it to me. But really, that I think loses some of the advantages of reaching and going out to a professional in the first place. I'm really glad that I kind of listened to what my dermatologist had to say and worked with her on a treatment plan and regime, which I think delivered really great outcomes. I also think it's a mark of a really good relationship with a dermatologist when they can turn around and say, you know what, this just isn't working. This isn't right for you and what you want to get out of it. Maybe there are some better alternatives that are less talked about, less hyped, but could deliver better for you as an individual. I'm really glad that I decided to transition back onto adapolene different because I'm already seeing those great results, and I think just this has worked out to be the best product for me. I would love for you guys to share your tretinoin journey, your stories, your befores and afters, because I think when it comes to a super high potency ingredient like this, we need to think long and hard about whether it's the right one for us, our skin type, and how we're going to use it in terms of our existing skincare routine. So I really want to get that conversation going and sound off in the comment section below. This didn't have the ending that maybe I hoped for, but you know what? Not everything can be a happy ending in skincare, and I wanted to complete the circle and share with you my full journey so this can kind of inform you. Anyone out there that feels that they have to try tretinoin because everyone sings its praises and how wonderful it is, remember, like any other ingredient in skincare, it'll work wonderfully for some people, but it won't work as well for others. And it's all about treating your skin as the unique individual that you are and working out what's right for you, whether that's over the counter, whether that's on an online consultation, or face to face with a dermatologist. It's all about matching the products you reach for to your individual skin type, needs, and of course your budget. So I really just wanted to get that message out there loud and clear. I would love, like I say, to know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions, and wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and love your skin. Take care. Bye.